So the developer of SimpleMMO, Mike, has dropped another blog post over at the Galahad Creative website, and it's dated July 3rd of this year, and it's titled "An Update on SimpleMMO." And essentially, it covers the the term that Mike is using is technical debt and some stuff that's already on the roadmap for this year, but it's definitely worth going over. All right, so we're just going to hop right into it. Crazy Fi, you're going to lead us in here with the whole technical depth, and what does he mean by that?
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen our roadmap video or live stream that we did, go ahead and check that out because that shows like what was expected when it came to January and all of 2023, and then clearly some of these things that were on the roadmap weren't being hit or like it aren't going to be hit now at all,
Mhm.
because he's been working a lot on the back end, right? So technical debt, essentially, if you're a fan of League of Legends, Spaghetti Code or any other like small indie company, which in this case Galahad Creative is actually no
Yeah.
joke, a small indie company. You start off with a project, you just build it to make it work, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to fix that later. And he says that in his blog post, right? Like in 2017, he built out SimpleMMO in 5 hours from midnight to 5 a.m., which is absolutely insane. Hours, by the way, to be working. But so essentially, what he did was he built the game within 5 hours after graduating college. So it's his first big major project that he didn't intend to blow up the way it has, with over 1 million registered players. And like every late coder, they're all lazy. We're all lazy, right? Like the scripts that I built to support Couch Cat, absolute trash. And I'm like, oh
Dude,
yeah, I'll come back and I'll refactor that shit.
don't call
No,
yourself out. What the
no. I mean, if I'm going to call every other person out, I gotta call myself out. But yeah, so essentially, check out the blog post. You can see the first iterations of it, but all that he's built, he built it right away without any frameworks. And if you're technical, you understand what that means. If you don't, frameworks are essentially just an easier way to help produce a or build a project faster in a more organized, clean manner instead of just building everything out yourself. Essentially, like copy and paste code almost, if you will, if you think about it like that. So there is a lot of technical debt. He's pretty much said he's learned a lot over the past 5 years of building the game, and he even mentioned it in the Idle MMO, where if you're in their Discord, they talk about how they want to make this right on
Mhm.
the first try, so that the technical debt is very low compared to Simple MMO, where he's building and fighting his code to make everything work. So it makes it harder for him to implement more into the game because the code is so messy compared to, I guess in this case, Idle MMO, which will be a lot cleaner, so it'll be easier to update, though it could be, still longer to update the game because you want to provide a good content. But regardless, that's the whole point of technical debt. And the reason why we haven't seen many updates in the game, minus this whole PayPal thing that just happened. Um,
Shortly lived there,
yeah,
bud.
shortly lived, because everyone is abusing him like assholes.
That's
But
an
regardless,
assumption. That's
yeah,
an we don't
that.
know.
I mean, I'll call it like it is. Fuck it.
I will request refunds every time I buy diamonds. Just you fucking wait.
And banned. Anyways, yeah. So Mike said that he hasn't been pushing out the updates, but he has been working hard on the game, which to me is kind of unfortunate because we didn't know about that at all until we got this blog post, and it's been a couple months, right? Like the big update that we got was the guild updates, and what we expected was PVE portions of a guild update to come, and
Yeah.
that never did. So we're just sitting there waiting for that. Um, I wish he would have posted updates of what he's doing on the back end, refactoring this section of the game or refactoring this section of the game. That would have been cool for two reasons. One, you're keeping the community updated on, hey, I'm actually working on this. I'm not abandoning the game for my next game. Um,
Yeah, that's still under investigation by Couch Cat, by the way.
yeah, and And two, for all those people who are passionate about the coding side of the house or learning how to do these big projects like this, they could either learn or just enjoy those type of patch notes. So I wish you would bring those back, honestly. But yeah, that's the technical that portion of it, and because of that, most of the roadmap, minus the auction house, is what he's saying in the blog post, is we,
Mhm.
we probably won't see for 2023, which is fair. I think it's fine.
Yeah, and I'll touch more on that at the end
Yeah.
of the video, but it's fortunate. It's fortunate we got the blog post. It's unfortunate for the average player because not every player is interested in coding and stuff like that. So they're just not going to probably appreciate what this really means when you're restructuring the game from the back end.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, so we'll move on to the mechanics that are touched very lightly in this blog post. Most of them were on the roadmap and still are, but we're talking about mechanics such as the world boss in Simple MMO and how, I mean, Mike says himself, it's probably one of the worst features in the game and how it's implemented. So there's going to be a whole rework for the world boss system, and that is on the roadmap. So that was no surprise there. It's just, I guess, what Crazyfy was just touching on. We as the players didn't really know what it would take to fix that mechanic. And this blog post kind of like bleeds into that, like, oh, here is how and what it's going to take. Again, there's also jobs mentioned as a mechanic that is under scrutiny by Mike and his team. That, of course, was also on the roadmap. And the roadmap will be linked down below. If I remember, Crazy if I remember the link to shit, it'll
Call
be
him out in
linked
the
down
comments
below.
if he doesn't do it.
Yeah, don't call me out in the comments. And essentially, yeah, you can look at the roadmap and compare it to what he touches on in the blog post for the mechanics. But he just gives some examples of what is still on the docket and what will be changed. And then leading away from mechanics, we have the mobile UI, which Crazyfy, we were just
Yes.
talking about offline. We thought the mobile UI was good for what it is.
Yeah, I think it's very clean.
Mhm.
I enjoy it. I prefer the way it's structured on like choosing the tasks and crafting and all that compared to the web um,
Yeah.
UI. But I think that might be just because I use the mobile UI more so than the web one. But
Mhm.
still, like I don't know. I don't see an issue with the mobile UI, so I was really interested to see him call that out specifically.
Yeah. In my wife, not my alt character. Well, it depends who you are. If you're a mod, it's my wife. If you're a mod, it's my alt character. No, just kidding. But I finally got her to use the mobile app. Away from using the brow. You know, she was using Safari on her phone to freaking play Simple MMO, and
That is wild.
I was like, he made an iOS app like almost 2 years. We covered it, right? Huh? But yeah, I guess I could only if there's one thing that sticks out to me with the mobile UI is that there's a lot of clutter. There's a lot of there's a lot on a list when you're navigating from tabs. But otherwise, I think it's fully functional and it looks at least modern enough compared to the mobile browser or the web browser, excuse me, and even like Yomu's tool, the SimpleMMO App Hub.
Yeah.
But that's the mobile UI. It's on the docket, and from there, something even more. I don't want to say confusing, just like maybe left field. Like Crazyfy and I were staying out. We're waiting for the pitch, and the ball zings us from far left. Is rebranding Simple
Yeah.
MMO. So longtime players. I mean, Crazyfy. When you discover this game, we had the dual pixel swords,
Yep. The
which were
best
probably
around.
the best in round, but definitely assets smushed together. And then out of the darkness comes this beautiful dragon, side silhouette with very vibrant color schemes. Because from the years Simple Mo was building Steam, a lot of the new apps were coming out with like the bright purples and oranges and reds, and
Right,
it was
right.
like this. Everyone had the same color scheme, and you just had to have a good graphic to slap it on.
Yeah.
And I feel great about the dragon logo. Crazyfy, you said you love the dragon logo. And then you also said you found something interesting while Googling Simple MMO offline, that it's changed completely to like, would you say like some sword and like some half moon or something
It's
like
like
this?
it's like a circle in the background, like a outline of a circle, and then like a sword, which I thought was kind of compared to the dragon
Yeah.
and the dual pixel swords. I mean, I will always be partial to the dual pixel swords, but
Yo, take the color scheme, make the swords not so heavily pixelated and asset looking like from
yeah,
Canva,
yeah,
and slap those vibrant colors on swords, dude. But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I think of like Throne and Liberty, which is an upcoming MMO. When I see the sword, almost every MMO has like the sword down towards the
yep,
earth with
yep,
like some moon or some circle in the background.
yep,
Um, maybe he wants to take it towards that direction, like not edgier, but I guess you would say like kind of like inject realism into the logo.
yeah,
But
yeah,
I think the dragon looks amazing, and we'll probably hear more about this because he has a blog post that went over the whole idea behind the rebranding in the first place.
right.
So it'll be interesting to see what he works with and how he got how that process worked out for him if we do see a new rebranding.
Yeah, I would
Um,
hope that he comes up with another blog post with his results from his A/B testing to choose which logo is best. I think that would be amazing. But I mean, that's just personal passion right there.
yeah,
Mike, if you're listening, please.
we're interested in marketing and marketing attempts.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you for falling on that sword for us. And so that leads us into removal of some features. Mike lightly touches on this in his blog post that after the technical debt's addressed or while it's being addressed, some things are just not going to fit into SimpleMMO like they used to, if they even fit in the first place. And he's going to do some testing. He's going to also get feedback, and he's probably already has some things on the docket. I'm just going to say it right here: removal of the bounty system. No one uses it. And then Crazyfy, what's yours? Would you want
the
to?
gambling center.
Yeah, exactly. No gambling center in a game where children are playing.
Dude,
That's
it's so I went there because I'm broke now in the game, right? I
oh
went in
good.
there, I'm like,
Let's
okay, I'm
talk
gonna
about
gamble away a
yeah.
few mil real fast. The 50-50 game, you can only gamble up to 250K, which is chump change now. Like it doesn't mean anything. So what's the point of having a gambling center like that? I don't know. I think that could go away. I think, like you said, yeah, well, bounties is that's a spicy one right there because I there's probably plenty of people who do it, but
Down with bounties, dude.
as the permanent safe mode person says. But
Listen, I have I have roasted like 20 plus profiles, okay? And I've only ran across like 3 profiles that have done a bounty.
right.
I know 20, that's, you could consider this a large portion of the player base. But I'm just saying, I don't think anyone's using it. Not anymore. Even when they changed it to make it better, it's still not really fun to use. But again, that's just me. Like you
I
said, permanent safe mode. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I think what was interesting is said that they're going to look at every piece of the game. And I know in the Idle, I keep bringing back to Idle MMO, but because that's his next project with Yomu, and it's essentially he's taking everything he's learned from Simple MMO and
Mhm.
making it better, taking those lessons and making another game, right? So it's bound to be better overall, just a different category of game. But in the Idle MMO server, he said he made a mistake of using an energy system with the quest points. So
Mhm.
I'd be curious to see if that goes away even, or if it's just too ingrained because people have
Yeah.
purchased so many quest
Yes.
points as is that it will never go away. But I think it would be very interesting and a spicy take if he did eliminate that aspect of the game and or changed it in some way.
Yeah, I don't think you do that without refunding all the diamonds.
Yeah,
Like, just
that's
think about Dill alone, who's like on the mod staff of SimpleMMO, who's got like thousands of QP. Like that's just one player. And I have a lot of QP too. Now I have like 80 something QP, but like there ain't no way I'm not getting a refund if that shit happens. Even though I used diamonds I earned in game to get it, that still would piss me off. But yeah, it'll be, you know what? We're going back to the basics. We're doing, just stepping. There's no BA, there's no quests. The rebrand, removable features, there's only going to be world boss, jobs, and stepping, and
it's
major
like
leaves.
it's like RuneScape where you have like RuneScape 3 or whatever right now and old
Yeah.
school. Like he's going to bring back the 2017 Simple MMO for people to
Yeah.
play.
All right. Well, from removable features, the final topic for discussion here within this blog post that we found interesting is the discussion board, and that's really interesting, especially in light of maybe these are like bigger examples that might not directly correlate with SimpleMMO, even though they do have a subreddit. Um, the whole thing with like Reddit and shit going on and all that jazz, you know, we're large fans or huge fans of LCS, the Riot Games, North American Esport League. And we listened to Travis Gafford and his posts or his podcast, excuse me, and they kind of went over this how people in the LCS community are nervous of what's going on with Reddit and how it would affect the subreddit, the LCS, the esports, and all that stuff. But that would all be, that it wouldn't be an issue if they had not abandoned their internal discussion boards and had just fleshed those out and moderated those better. And to see Mike actually, put discussion boards in as a topic and talks about revamping them, it kind of gets me excited because one, I mean, he mentions it too, but it's if you're a traditional MMO player or just a multiplayer, gamer in general, you started out probably playing a game that had those discussion boards and the bajillion threads that you could sort through and search for your answers and just chat with people. So I do like that direction of revamping them because in game they're just ass. Like
Yeah.
it's awful to use. Uh and then when tasks were kind of like tied to um like the overall discussion board or like
Right. Or
features,
suggestions.
yeah, suggestions and stuff,
Yeah.
you couldn't really address the community without getting spammed by like two-letter response, like two
Yep.
letters as a response because they're doing their daily task. Um, yeah, so I hope we see a better discussion board because we've used the discussion board in the past to hype up some of the stuff we're doing for Couch Cat and our community, in the overall Simple Mo community, and that's like 2 pages of just like KG KF KF, like it's fucking sucked, dude.
Yeah. I this one's interesting to me because I've gone through some of them. Like, truthfully, I barely go through the discussion boards to begin with
Mhm,
because I find no purpose in them. You have global chat. You have all the disparate Discord servers that are out there where people truly communicate.
mhm.
Um, I just the only thing that's really used is suggestions board probably because everyone wants to get like that award or whatever that they got the accepted for change or something. But a lot of these boards don't get used every day anyway, so I'm curious how they're going to modernize it. I don't know if like they just completely revamp chat and how global chat works and everything like that, or if it's still going to be a discussions board just modernized. I have no. What does that mean to modernize a discussion board? I don't know in this game. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
It's gotta be something to make players use it over going to the official Discord server of SimpleMMO and, navigating I mean, that this is enough for me to use in game is when I
Right.
go to the official Discord, kind of like Fly, um, the guild's Discord, like there's like 50 fucking text channels, and I'm like, I'm not doing this, dude. Like, there's just what is any of this?
Yeah.
So hopefully it just means ease of access, some, you like some reason some reason behind it to use it more to effectively communicate what you're doing because I mean we still have players who do their in-game events that they run on their own or even jointly with Simple Mo staff. We can think of XBuy's community awards, the best players of Simple MMO, and how that requires like immediate pinning just to see it,
Right.
and then the effort it takes to direct traffic to it within the game. That all needs to just be, I don't know. The community just needs to be made aware that these boards can be used. I guess that's really what it comes down to. But that's all the topics here in the blog post that Mike dropped. Crazy Five, do you have any last words or any
Yeah.
takeaways?
I think it'll just be interesting to see how it goes. I hope he being Mike keeps us updated on the progress. Because because he talks about how they have a long-term plan for SimpleMMO to continuously update it and keep it around. So that's exciting to
Mhm.
hear just right off the bat, right? So I hope he continues to update us on this. I enjoy these blog posts, enjoy reading them, and there's a lot of good insight into it. So I hope he keeps that up. But yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and same way, more blog posts. If you're not a coder, if you don't care about the back end, it's kind of sad news, but then look forward to the changes that are still going to be made on the 2023 roadmap. I know I'm still excited for that. And let's just hope, Simple MMO doesn't, it's not the next featured game on Death of a Video Games YouTube channel as Idle MMO begins to roll out, which is any day now, maybe. I don't know. Mike, he says he's playing it loosely because he keeps not hitting the target date. So,
It's this
we'll
week until it's not.
yeah, it's this week until it's not. But that'll do it for the video. Thank you for watching. Like if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new here, and head on over to couchcatpod.com for more simple MMO and idle MMO content. We'll see you next time. Peace, friends.
Bye bye.